chapter energies, warts and all, problems and huge potentials in your chart. So Mercury starts September at 29 Vedic Leo, so obviously soon enters his own sign Vedic Virgo next day. And while Mercury transits Virgo, this is good for Virgos and Geminis and good for communication, except that, as I said, there's some strange aspectations going on from Neptune, for example. Virgo is the sign of health, healing and right living, and this Mercury transit through Virgo will be good for boosting your thinking, including in areas of healing. Mercury enters Vedic Libra on the 22nd of September, ending the month at 9 Libra. But do note what I said about squares aspecting transiting Mercury at that time from Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto. And do note that when Mercury enters Vedic Libra, he's receiving an opposition aspect from Mars transiting in Aries. So, you know, be very aware of Mercury energies. Okay, we now come to Mars. So Mars starts September at 3 degrees Vedic Aries and actually transits Aries. He's actually transiting Aries from August the 16th to October the 3rd. But Mars stations on the 10th of September. Now note that any planet that has very slow velocity carves his power and energy identity with much greater force and power. Now, with Mars stationing around the 10th of September, there could be energy and hostility. There could be riots. But as I said before, there's also good, strong energy that we can utilise to do our needed good work and progress our projects. Seek to use your energy that way, to focus it, to channel it, to support it. So Mars turns retrograde on the 10th of September at 3 degrees Aries, retrograding back towards the Gandanta zone, those immaterial, insubstantial zones where this world is seen to be non-real. And for those who aren't sort of depressed and defeated by that, there can be huge inspiration in that energy of the Gandanta. So we have Mars heading back towards Vedic Pisces, but he doesn't quite get into Vedic Pisces. He ends September at 1 degree Vedic Aries. I personally found Mars in Pisces energy very messy and weakening, and indeed Mars is in very bad dignity in Pisces. And for me, that made ring true the supreme nature of the declaration of Vedic astrology, but only when it uses the sidereal zodiac with the Lahiri Ayanamsha, thus correctly declaring those sign boundaries and those Gandanta zones. But certainly I didn't fare happily or strongly with Mars in Pisces. So the sign and date summary for Mars transit is Mars retrograde in Aries, September the 10th to October the 4th. Mars retrograde in Pisces, October the 4th to November the 14th. And then Mars direct in Pisces, November the 14th to December the 23rd. Mars direct in Aries, December the 23rd to February 2021. So a very important transit from Mars. Its effects will be huge. And notice that the last of those Mars direct in Aries, end of December, January and February, are when other factors predict, for example, the eclipse of the 14th of December, I have predicted will affect the sort of Donald Trump's management of his mind and his behaviour as a political leader. So this is, really bad combinations coming up for the United States with the election or whatever goes for an election in November. And I would say the leadership instability at best and violence that will follow November way into certainly February of 2021. Now then, September 2020 actually has a record number of 5 planets strong in their own sign. We've already mentioned Mars, but there's Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn and Moon at a time. So September is powerful times. I feel like saying use it as such. Now Jupiter spends the whole of the month in the same degree, 23 degrees Vedic Sagittarius. So he's in his own sign, and so optimally he radiates blessing, purpose and guru energies, but he's retrograde at first. And so, as I said, at that time the Jupiter energies will be more inward. His blessing harder for us to receive. His sense of purpose harder for us to receive. And notice that at 23 degrees Sagittarius, Jupiter is actually in close conjunction with Pluto at 28 degrees Sagittarius and with Saturn at 1 degree Capricorn. And this is vast. The explosive and expansionary might of Jupiter and Pluto, this is so important, are pitted against the social structures and the limit of society and the limiting scripts of each individual. Our prison walls have a chance to be blown down. But in social terms, as I say, there will be, I feel, rioting and social unrest. And the hope is that the demolition of restriction will lead to better society and that good things will not be harmed. Saturn spends the whole of September at 1 degree Vedic Capricorn. Saturn actually transits his own sign of Capricorn until the 29th of April 2022. So Saturn is super strong here. And he's especially strong in his demands for you to do hard work, duty, commitment, patience, diligence, paying off karmic dues, dealing with sadness and frustration. Check which sign in your Vedic birth chart is Capricorn. That's the area where he'll particularly manifest, the area of life. And by the way, this transit of Saturn in Capricorn will be extra hard for Sagittarius. Capricorn and Aquarius moon people. So if you have your moon in Sagittarius, Capricorn or Aquarius, of course you're in Sade Sate with this Saturn transit. So get a reading from me about what that means and how to handle it, heal it and empower with it. So Saturn at this degree of 1 Capricorn is in Uttarashada Nakshatra, Pada 2. And that is the Capricorn Pada. So, and it's also Vargotama. So there's inspiration here, but emphasis on making concrete achievement. And we may need nerves of steel to handle this lot, to overcome the blocks, to fight the slowness Saturn may impose on you during his retrograde at present. And of course it's an energy that highlights worldly power structures. And always remember that adjacent Jupiter and Pluto will be smashing at structures and scripts within ourselves that should no longer be there. So Saturn is retrograde from the 1st of September to the 29th of September when he turns direct. And note that in this month of September, we actually have 3 planets that are moving so slowly they stay in the same degree for a long time. So you see so many totally special features in the astrology of this month. So these 3 planets are Saturn, Neptune and Pluto. They have very slow motion in the heavens. They carve their effect deeply. Saturn, Neptune and Pluto. So Saturn turns direct on September the 29th. So now we'll feel his energies and his demands and his teachings clear and strong. Hopefully we'll have completed all the unfinished business Saturn called us to attend to during the retrograde period. And he's certainly called on me to attend to loads of unfinished stuff. Moving on to Uranus. Well, Uranus is retrograde all month, retrograding from 16 Aries to 15 Aries. He's in Bharani Nakshatra, the 2nd Nakshatra, but he'll re-enter Ashwini Nakshatra on the 2nd of December. And he continues retrograde until the 14th of January, when he turns direct at 12 degrees Vedic Aries. And so I've actually done a special add-on video and blog that I'm really keen on, calling us to carry our banner of revolution aloft. What is your personal revolution? Carry that banner forward while Uranus is retrograde, so that it can really start manifesting when Uranus turns direct from the 14th of January. Key information is in that add-on video and blog, a must to embrace revolution. You see, Uranus is our flash of insight. Uranus is surprise. Uranus is the flash of lightning. Okay, Neptune. Well, Neptune too is retrograde all month, retrograding from 16 to 15. From 25 Vedic Aquarius to 24 Vedic Aquarius in Purvashada Nakshatra. And this is Pada 2 of Purvashada, the Taurus Pada. So this could bring a more earthly expression and connection to the inspirational, fierce and often paranoid energy of Purvashada Nakshatra, whose power animal is the male lion. And a grounding of our Neptune vision is possible from this in our vision work. Neptune continues retrograde until the 29th of November, and he turns direct then at 24 degrees Aquarius. Still at 24 degrees Aquarius, so Neptune occupies the same degree all month. Neptune is opposite Mercury on the 1st of September, opposition the Sun, the 7th to the 16th of September. And those are big transits. They have a huge effect if they're in the natal chart. Okay, moving on to Pluto. Pluto is retrograde at 28 Vedic Sagittarius all month. Pluto turns direct on the 5th of October, not moving into the next degree, 29 Sagittarius, until the 26th of November. Pluto is in very close conjunction with Saturn, who's at 1 Capricorn. Pluto-Saturn. Pluto is like atomic explosion. Saturn is prison walls or social scripts and structures. But Pluto, of course, is also our power, and Pluto is also our shadow. And I say at this time we will be called to go into our shadow and also to come into our power. And I've done a special add-on video and blog about that. What is your shadow? Who is your power? I believe it's affecting me considerably at the moment because Pluto's transiting square my sun and my moon. And just an example of what Western psychodynamic astrology can offer, and of course I teach a course on that and I cross-refer to psychodynamic astrology in all my Vedic courses and vice versa, and I include both psychodynamic astrology and Vedic astrology in all my readings, well, in my case, Pluto is unaspected. And so that means it's cut off from the rest of the chart. And psychodynamic astrology would also say cut off from the divine potential of me. But when it's activated by progression or transit, it can make a connection to the rest of the person and they can feel it. And certainly I feel I'm coming into my power at this time of Pluto's transiting in the heavens square, my natal sun and moon. And the challenge will be, of course, to hang on to the gains one has made during the transit of a planet which is unaspected in one's birth chart, but because otherwise we might lose the connection again. That's just a wonderful little taster of what psychodynamic Western astrology can offer and how supremely it can add to Vedic astrology and vice versa. So, do not underestimate the restrictive and also the explosive potential of the Jupiter-Saturn-Pluto conjunction. Okay, the nodes of the moon, Rahu and Ketu, the north and south nodes. Well, a really big event is that the nodes of the moon change sign in the Vedic sidereal zodiac on the 23rd of this month, on the 23rd of September. Although Rahu will still be within the same nakshatra, Mrigashira nakshatra, which is ruled by Mars, because Mrigashira spans Vedic Gemini and Vedic Taurus. Now then, Rahu has transited Vedic Gemini and Ketu has transited Vedic Sagittarius since March 2019. And the nodes spend approximately 18 months in each sign. So Rahu starts September at 1 degree Vedic Gemini and retrogrades into the end of Vedic Taurus on the 23rd of September and ends September at 29 Vedic Taurus. Now in the case of Ketu, September is a transit of Ketu from 1 degree Vedic Sagittarius in Mula Nakshatra, ruled by Ketu, through the Gandanta zone into 29 Vedic Scorpio in Jyesta Nakshatra. As I said, when the nodes change sign generally, watch out for more paranoia around. And incidentally, at the time the nodes change sign, there's a difficult quincunx aspect to Rahu from Saturn, which is transiting at 1 Vedic Capricorn, strong in his own sign. So, after the sign change date of the nodes of the 23rd of September, Rahu continues into Vedic Taurus until the 12th of April 2022, and Ketu continues into Vedic Scorpio until the 12th of April 2022. So all the month of September, Ketu is transiting the Gandanta zone, one of the 3 Gandanta zones, the Gandanta zone that lies between Sagittarius and Scorpio. And indeed, the last degree of Vedic Sagittarius is a very difficult degree called Abhukta Mula, where it's certainly very difficult for a woman to have her moon in her birth chart. Although Ketu has reached 25 Scorpio by the time of the difficult new moon eclipse of the 14th of December 2020, which is one of the 2 eclipses this year that are in the identical date and sign location to the 9/11 eclipses of 2001 that brought about the Twin Towers. So Ketu transiting the Gandanta can be an energy of meltdown and big inspiration-driven change of direction, change of identity Emotional and past life issues may especially arise. Ketu's energy is sudden and cutting. But of course, for spiritual purpose, if only we can perceive the spiritual purpose that is offered. So the nodes are in strong dignity and strength now. Rahu is always strong in Taurus, and Ketu co-rules Scorpio. And this is at the time when the great malefic Saturn is strong too in Capricorn, and malefic Mars is strong in Aries. Interesting. Vast. I hope to be able to fully embrace it. I hope you too do. And I hope hearing this may help. Traditionally, Rahu transiting Taurus has been good for the economy. But I'm not so sure about that, and I wouldn't expect it to manifest until into the start of next year if, as I expect, the US economy will be drowned out by the social unrest of Mars in Aries and Mars in Taurus, the effect of the eclipse of the 14th of December 2020 on Donald Trump's Moon-Ketu conjunction, with great risk to the stability of his mind. So Rahu's usual transiting effect in Taurus of being good for the economy may be counterbalanced by these Mars issues and the eclipse issues, and by Ketu transiting into Scorpio through the Gandanta. And of course, in this report I give the dates of the 6 eclipses of 2020 because it's more than usual. Okay, lastly, Chiron is at 14 degrees Vedic Pisces on the 1st of September.